This is Captain Soban of the fleet, Farron Shaw.
We have arrived in Sector 112 and request targeting data.
Hello everyone, this is Captain Soban. Welcome aboard the Starship Normal Prize for another Homeworld Is It Possible? Okay, so today we have a special mission that we're doing today. The last week's episode, we completed all of the fighter classes and seeing if they could be single-handedly spammed to beat the enemy AIs. So today, to celebrate, I'm actually doing something that somebody requested in one of the videos. We wanted to see if it's possible to just use the Mothership and use its defense guns to wipe out the incoming enemy fleets while using ships to keep the Mothership alive, and then try using the Mothership to kill the other Motherships. That's a fantastic plan. We are going to spam build repair corvettes and use them to keep the Mothership alive while we move the Mothership in to try to kill the enemies. Now, the Mothership moves extremely slow in Homeworld 1, and you can only use it in skirmish. You can't actually move it in the campaign. She moves at a whopping 50 meters per second. And our opponents are across the map at 167 kilometers away. So we are going to go ahead and start moving because it's going to take a really long time to actually get up to the enemy.
Destination confirmed.
So, Mothership has her orders. She's on her way to wipe out the enemies. We have a couple of repair corvettes already made. We'll go ahead, give them their command to keep the Mothership alive, and we will go from there. Because the fact we're only building from the Mothership, economy shouldn't really be a problem, so we're not going to be building carriers or extra harvesters for this mission. We're going to stick for one harvester and one resource collector we start out with, and live off of bounties and resource injections. So yeah, that is the plan for this mission. For the time being, I will let you know if something happens. Also, for those of you that are curious, the defense weapons on the Mothership are located, I believe, here in front, and then on the side we have one here, behind we have one here, and then over here we have one here and one here. They're just basic defensive guns, but at certain angles the Mothership could lock on 4 of those guns onto the enemy. They are pretty good at tracking fighters and corvettes, so the Mothership against fighters and corvettes should be just fine. And the Mothership has enough hull to survive attacks against like frigates and whatnot, so we don't have to worry too much about that. And I believe the Mothership can take a heavy cruiser head on with no problem, or not a heavy cruiser, a destroyer head on with no problem, and a missile destroyer. I believe that if it attacks a destroyer, it should bring its health down to like here. I need to test that myself, but it should be able to survive it. Against the heavy cruiser would win because it has a lot of firepower, and the Mothership can't quite do enough damage to actually handle it. So right now, we got 8 repair corvettes already. So this is gonna be interesting. Where are you going there, little buddy? You just trying to get a good position, I guess? Okie dokie. Mothership defense attack weapons are attacking our scout that's kind of spying on us. I think I only hit it twice, and now the scout is almost dead. I actually don't know how much damage the Mothership does compared to the other ships. I'm actually curious about that. I'm gonna look that up real quick while we're waiting. Okay, online it doesn't actually say how much damage. Wow, we have a lot of repair corvettes already. But the Mothership, or it doesn't actually say the stats of how much damage the Mothership does. So I'm going to assume each weapon is about the size of the weapon on the light corvette. I think the light corvette does the same damage as the support frigate, I believe. No, never mind, the support frigate's a lot more powerful. But we're going to assume each one's the size of a light corvette. So if we have 8 weapons, if we launched them all at the same time, each having 9 damage, that would mean that the mothership would do 72 damage if every single weapon actually hit the enemy. That's actually an impressive amount, because 72 is not near as powerful as an ion cannon frigate, but it's almost as much damage as an assault frigate. Now again, that's assuming all of the weapons hit, because only 4 at the most can hit at a time. So that means the mothership can do 36 damage at a time, which means its firepower is equivalent to, I believe, a cloak fighter. Slightly less than a cloak fighter, not as much as an attack bomber. Slightly less than an attack bomber, which is impressive. Honestly, it's a lot more than I was expecting. It is weird because I was looking online and it does say that the Kushan mothership only has 5 projectiles. I do not believe that, because I've seen the mothership shoot before. I know for a fact it has 2 up here in front, 2 up there on the side, 2 in the back. Maybe it can only shoot 5 at most at a time. Maybe that's what I'm looking at. And it's got 2 here, and it's got 2 in the front. Both of them right about here. So it definitely has 8 projectile weapons. I mean, when we get in combat, we'll check that out as well, because I'm kind of curious. But I believe for the fact the mothership has 8 projectiles.
Reporting for duty.
Oh shoot, I think I messed up. Oh shoot, I forgot to add a second AI in. No! I'll be back. Okay, that's interesting. So when you're fighting 2 AIs, apparently you start with light corvettes instead of scouts. Weird. Anyways, I also realized that when the AI are on a team, they send probes at you instead of scouts. Interesting. I'm learning all sorts of new things in this game. Look at that mothership chug along. She's moving so fast! It's gonna take some time to get over there. Alright, I guess while we're moving over to our destination, I'm gonna go ahead and read you some of the mothership lore that I've been reading while we travel through. I was reading about the defense grid system that I was talking about earlier. So, on Fleet Intelligence Instance, a point defense grid system was built along the mothership's hull. The defense system was made up of mass driver turrets based on new technology that use electromagnetic fields to propel projectiles in the vacuum of space. While the defense grid is useless against large ships, it can successfully defend against a fighter squadron. In addition, several warship designs passed through Fleet Intelligence and were accepted for possible construction, many of which were used later on during the Homeworld War. So, according to the Homeworld Encyclopedia, which you guys can read anytime, just look up Kushan Mothership stats and you'll go straight to the encyclopedia stage. This defense grid was only designed to fight like fighter class ships. If the mothership lasts a long time, it can do enough damage to for further capital ships, but it's not designed for that type of combat. It's cool that they go in detail about how the electromagnetic system works on these little guys. But right now we have 21 repair corvettes. We still have a long time to get to our destination. We are 165 kilometers out. I think we started at like 185, so we only moved like 20 kilometers. But again, the mothership only moves 50 meters per second. So if you guys want to throw that in a calculator, you can figure out how long it's going to take for us to get there. And this right here is one of my favorite factoids about the Homeworld mothership. The final and most important piece of the mothership's construction was that of the central processor unit for the mothership, a supercomputer that would cover several decks. A gigantic computer. At the time, even the Karatoba was not unveiled, had not unveiled the necessary technology to construct a supercomputer of such magnitude. At this time, the only computer even close to this complex was the human brain, and not without serious alteration. It was hence that Karen Sajet, a neuroscientist and heir to the position of Kif Sa within Kif Sajet, entered the picture. I believe Kif Sa is like the leader of that clan. She proposed a bold new technology to merge machine and human brain tissue using experimental cybernetic technology.
Resource injection received.
At the time, this had never been tried before, but the procedure seemed the only solution that did not require a complete redesign of the mothership was accepted. Much of the horror of Karen's family, she volunteered herself and refused to give up the technology if it was used on someone else. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why Karen Sajet is the leader, or became fleet command of the mothership. Because I think in this article it also tells you that if they didn't actually do this technology, the alternate backup plan was to make room for 50,000 deck employees to control all the systems that the mothership has, which would completely redesign the entire mothership. So yeah, Karen Sajet, amazing person to invent that type of technology in this universe. Let's see, we're up to 31 repair corvettes. Nope, repair the mothership, please.
Mothership.
And we still have a long way to go. Okay, so this is why we actually don't see the Kushan mothership after we get through with Homeworld 1. Upon reaching Hagara, Karen Sajet debarked the mothership and was the last person to set foot on Hagara. On her advice, the hyperspace core was put on display on the Asium Kifsad Museum. The ship was ultimately converted into a large orbital shipyard, with its main purpose being to build new supercapital ship vessels like the Explorer-class deep space mining vessel, like the Kif Samatal used in Homeworld Cataclysm, a carrier, or the occasional heavy cruiser. So, large ship production was turned into a shipyard, which it explains that a little bit in the beginning of Cataclysm, but I was wondering if there was actually a way to see it later on in the future. But because of the fact they took the hyperspace core out, and the fact the mothership is really slow, so without a hyperspace core it can't really get around that well, it's very interesting. Very interesting to read a little bit about this lore while we're waiting for something to happen. The other thing that was actually pretty interesting was the hyperspace core that they found in the Kartoba, which started the whole event, the whole process of the Homeworld event, because now we actually have a way to go intergalactic and whatnot, was engineered and designed to be, I think it was 7 times larger than the original find. So engineers had to take those calculations and multiply them by 7 and hope that they frickin' work. Yeah, I like Homeworld 1's lore a lot better than Homeworld 2, because according to Homeworld 2, Karen Sajet was integrated into the hyperspace core, which allows her to live forever, where in Homeworld 1, she was integrated directly into the mothership, which is why a lot of the engineers were afraid that she wouldn't be able to actually survive extraction if, if something like that would ever happen. We have 43 repair corvettes, and we have not even been attacked yet. I'm sure they're starting to move things in, but we still have a long time before we actually get to the enemy. So there's going to be a lot of waves that we have to fight through. So anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying this little lore session. Since we're just trying to keep the mothership alive, we're going to be playing completely defense on this playthrough, so there's not much action that's actually going to be going on. Here's a little bit of history of the construction of the mothership. The construction of the mothership was a great undertaking, unlike anything ever before in the history of Karak. The mothership was constructed over a period of 100 years, starting around 1150 KDS. 40 years after the discovery of the Kartoba, which is part of the events of Deserts of Karak. Its construction first required the building of an immense space station, which itself took 20 years to build, which I'm actually curious about because we don't actually hear too much about this space station. I'm sure the whole purpose of it was to direct the construction efforts of the mothership. And shipyard, known simply as the scaffold. Unless the scaffold is the space station. Maybe it's both. First required of the building of an immense space station and shipyard. I think it's talking about the scaffold. It took 20 years to build the scaffold, which houses the mothership during its construction. This scaffold became the only moon that Karak has ever known, easily visible in the night sky, traveling across the surface of the planet in the outer orbit. Within the scaffold clutches, the mothership was built or born. So 100 years after the discovery of the Kartopa, it took to build the Kushan mothership. Amazing. I love the events of Homeworld 1. There's a lot of the story and the background of Homeworld 1 is what actually got me into space and got curious about space travel and like Star Wars and Star Trek. Because I remember being 5 or 6 years old watching Star Trek and just not caring for it. I'm like, what's the point of this? They're just talking in a bunch of big technical terms and shooting people with lasers. I don't get this. And after the events of Homeworld 1, and especially the first cutscene you play when you start Homeworld 1, that was the thing that changed space for me forever. And one of the reasons why I love Homeworld so much. We got 52 repair corvettes now. We're gonna have like 100 by the time we even get up here. I wonder how many repair corvettes we're gonna have by the time we get to the second AI. Probably gonna be something ridiculous. Let's see, we are about probably 15-16 minutes into this this matchup. It took us 16 minutes to move this much. Oh my god. This is gonna take so long. Oh well. This is it possible? So I want to know if it's possible to just beat the game only using the mothership. So we'll just continue on. Ooh, it looks like we're being converged on now. There's a couple, it's like fleets coming in over here, and there's a couple fleets coming in over here. They're not even bothering to fight our harvesters.
Mothership.
Probably because I have nothing defending them now. So we might have to stop our journey and take care of some of these guys.
Mothership.
But for the time being, we have 66 repair corvettes. So they should be able to handle anything that they throw at them. Hopefully. Let's go ahead and put our mothership in aggressive formation. Here they come. We got, looks like 2 ion cannon frigates and a missile destroyer. The ion cannon frigates would be more acceptable, but looks like they're attacking our repair corvettes. Don't blame them. That's actually a smart strategy. Guys, move over here. Get on the other side of the mothership.
Alert, alert, ambush. Under fire, requesting orders.
Okay. Move over here.
Mothership.
Mothership, take care.
Hold and engage, we got contact. Retreat success, waiting orders, we're clear.
The mothership is under fire. Mothership.
There we go.
Action successful.
Let's see. Yep, 2 guns there. Oh, we only have 1 over here. I could have swore we had 2 of them. Got 2 there. 1 there. Okay. It just looks like we should have more.
The mothership is under attack.
So far, it looks like the repair corvettes are keeping up. The mothership is doing damage. It's going to take a while to actually kill these things.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Oh boy. Here comes more frigates.
The mothership is under fire.
I like how it's pushing it back. That's funny.
Mothership.
Got 64 of these.
Mothership.
Keep the mothership alive. So far, the repair things are flickering, which means they're keeping up.
Resource injection received.
That's not the button I wanted. Oh, I already had the mothership selected. That's why that happened. Gotcha.
The mothership is under attack.
So we got 3 guns attacking. There's more coming in on the front. Keep the mothership alive! Oh boy, they're coming in from all directions now. And we got this ion cannon break it down by 1/3. There's more coming in down there.
Under attack. What's the call?
We're still keeping up.
Under attack. What's the call?
Those guys are...
Under fire. Requesting orders.
they're being smart. They're killing the support.
Mothership.
Hold and engage. We got contact. Support is on the way. Hang in there.
The mothership is under attack.
Good boy.
Mothership.
Alert, alert. Stand by.
There's a lot of firepower going around, and they are killing
Contact.
a lot of our repair corvettes.
We're alerting. Ambush.
Everyone go in this direction.
Under fire. Requesting orders.
Try to get them to attack the mothership.
Alert, alert. Ambush. Destination locked in.
The mothership is under
There we
fire.
go.
Mothership.
Repeat. Where are those orders?
It looks like they're actually concentrating on our repair corvettes. Okay.
Command received.
Mothership.
Under fire.
Repair the mothership as quickly as you can.
Hold and engage. We got contact. Hold and engage. We got contact. Fire. Requesting orders. Fire.
Oops. Have we actually killed this guy yet?
Mothership is under attack.
Actually, fighting these guys would probably be better. Nope. I keep doing that. I keep forgetting my mothership selected. So like when you have your mothership selected and you click on it again, it goes to the build menu. We're not keeping up as much as we used to because we are down to 23 paracorvettes. When we had 50, we were handling it.
The mothership is under fire.
Guess we should have some combat music going on. There we go. Let's do the tie-down music. Yeah, they're starting to do too much damage now.
The mothership is under attack.
Alright, mothership, attack everything. Use all your defense guns. Attack whatever is in range, but I don't think we're going to survive this.
Mothership. Mothership.
I think they're all starting to concentrate on the mothership now, but they're doing too much damage, and we can't do enough damage to them. Yep. But that was a fun try. I had a lot of faith into it, but
Under attack.
yeah.
Bad feeling about this.
If they weren't
Mothership.
dumb enough to where they focused completely on the mothership and didn't kill half of our repair corvettes, we might have a chance, but it would take so long to kill these things, and the mothership moves so slowly that it's going to take so long to get through. So unfortunately, the Immortal Citadel has been defeated. So can you beat Homeworld 1 against 2 computers on medium using only the mothership? No. You do have to build some sort of fleet to fight them off, but we know that now. That's the whole point of this series, to test certain things and see if it's possible. So hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys enjoyed the little lure session we had about the Homeworld mothership. I figured I'd try to do something like that to kind of pass the time, because all we were doing was just waiting for a fight, since I couldn't really build anything else or scout anything else. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a like if you did. If you like what I do, consider subscribing, and I will check you guys out in the next video. But until then, this is Captain Soban signing out.
The Baker have arrived. Emergency hyperspace procedures initiated. The Mothership must survive.